Good morning and welcome to a new update in which we're going to discuss Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is still consolidating around 35k. We've had a slight bounce back up at the CME open towards the actual CME close of Friday, but we didn't really see anything happen since because the price action is still hanging around 35k and we're looking out for the coming week, which will most likely become very volatile. But before we're going to continue, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure to like this YouTube update if you enjoy the content, and make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which you can find beneath, where you can find daily content on the cryptocurrency markets and my view on the macroeconomic side of the world. When we're looking at the price action, we've had a few CME gaps that are still standing open. We've also had one that we created during the weekend, which was 36.7k, and that's what we closed during the past 12 hours. Now, the coming week, first of all, we have to watch how the futures are going to open during the actual week start. Right now they are looking upwards, but as you know from the past week, the actual open doesn't really say anything. We really have to gain during the day to actually show some potential bottoming structures on the equity side, given the fact that the sentiment on the equities markets is lower than when we started with the coronavirus, which was practically a black swan taking place. So that's the state of the markets right now. And given the fact that that's the state of the equity markets, it's also resulting into downwards movements on the crypto market. So right now, with the cryptocurrency markets, we are waiting to the equity markets to open and to see what's going to happen on that side of the market, to actually see whether the Bitcoin and crypto markets are going to bounce up themselves. Then secondly, we also got a Fed and FOMC meeting during this week, and I think that the entire market are waiting for the results to come out of that meeting, given the fact that in the past meeting in December, quantitative tightening was something that was discussed, but then 2 weeks later a conclusion came out that they are not going to do that yet, but it's on the agenda for January's meeting again. And given the fact that it's on the agenda again, I think that that is the most crucial one that we have to address or discuss during this week, as that will probably dictate where the markets are going to go to. But we might be getting a phase or a case here of sell the rumor, buy the news, that they are most likely not going to do it, or when they are going to do it, it's already priced into the markets with this heavy drawdown that we're having on the equity side and the crypto side. So let's head towards the charts. First of all, the CME charts, and then the actual lower time frame charts to see where we're standing with Bitcoin. Let's move to them. So when we're looking at the CME chart at this stage, we can see that we've closed the gap, right? We've bounced towards 36.5. If we zoom in, we can see that we've closed the CME gap that we created overnight. And therefore that one is closed, but we still have one on the upside and we still have one on the downside. Let's get the upside one also in play. Let's see, there we go. We've got one at 41.1 to 41 point, like let's say 2 or 3, and we've got this downwards one at 33, and we've got the CME also with an RSI that we've not seen before until March 2020. So in between, we've not seen the market's RSI being at this number at this stage. So that is something that I've addressed in the updates from Saturday, and that is some information that you could be using for yourself. But this structure looks like we're going to close the CME gap on the downside in the coming 48 hours to me, especially since the rejection that we've created on the lower time frames for Bitcoin in the past 12 hours. But it seems very likely that we're going to close this one before we're going to have any case of reversal, in which we drop a little bit further and make a sort of heavy bounce back up when the FOMC meeting comes around. Another one is that we're going to create ourselves a structure where we just make sideways action or take time, in which we get a Wyckoff structure here before we're going to make any reversal case happening at this stage. But the CME gaps are quite clear. Let's get towards the lower time frames at this point, in which we have been seeing rejections taking place too. Yesterday in the last update we discussed the crucial levels that we were watching, and as you can see a test has been taking place at 34.8 to 34.9. That's the level that we discussed. Then the markets have been moving back up, back to the CME open from Friday. As usually that's what's happening in the last hours of the weekend. The price starts running back towards the CME gap at that stage. And in this case we did that too, but we've made a fake out above the range high. We've tested the resistance and we dropped back into the range. And you know what I'm expecting to see happening when we drop back into the range after a fake out. That is that we are most likely going to test the other side of the range, right? So in this case, range construction, range resistance, range support. Let's make it that way. Right now, in which we have this fake out on the upside. We might be testing the range high again, so we might be testing somewhere around 35.8, but if that one is going to reject again, we are creating ourselves a lower high again, and then the chances, or it seems very likely, that we're going to have ourselves a test in this region. And if this is going to happen, we most likely are going to close that CME gap and then create ourselves enough liquidity to make a short-term relief rally, as I think that the week will overall be green and that the FOMC meeting is already priced in. Make sure to tune in to the live stream tonight at 7 p.m. Central European Time, so make sure to subscribe so then you will get a notification, and I'll see you again later today. Have a good one.